Okay, I call this meeting to order. As always, designation of our emergency exits to the back and to both sides. In case of an emergency, please exit in a calm manner. As everybody rise, I pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Mark Oswald, Patty Shane, here, Mary Simone, Lenora Freeze, here, Joseph Izzo,
Present.
Michael Dietrich,
Here.
Jeffrey Holiday,
Here.
Karen Van Lee, and Mike Consol.
We have a quorum?
Yes.
Thank you. I need a motion to go into executive session to discuss the personnel matter. Ms. DeShane, Ms. Reese, all in favor? Opposed? So carried. We'll be back. Okay, we're back in regular session. We have no visitor recognition on the agenda item. We did the motion there. Oh, our motion to go back into public session. Joe is on, Nora, all in favor? Aye. Okay. Superintendent's report.
Then we're gonna jump right into it. We're gonna go to our last policy presentation from Dr. Silvernow.
Thank you.
And the clickers apparently mysteriously disappeared, so I'm going to be going back and forth here a little bit. Okay, so here we are, June 11th, our first meeting where we started doing policies was back on February 5th. So since February, we have either amended, created, or renumbered 51 policies. That's a pretty ambitious project, and I'd like to thank everybody for all their hard work in doing that. It's kind of funny, our last meeting last week, I gave the list that we sent out to all you folks, and there were only 49 policies on it. And everybody's like, nope, we gotta do one more. We gotta do one more. So we went back and looked at the display of the flag policy and found it had a regulation, so we went from 49 to 51. But everybody was keen on making sure that we got 50. So I just wanted to tell that little story because I thought it was kind of funny. So again, mission statement, vision, purpose, and our policies for first reading tonight. The first one is 4526.1, the Internet Safety Regulation. You had first reading of the Internet Safety Policy last board meeting. This particular regulation is new to Catskill. It's not a requirement, but it kind of marries to the required policy of Internet safety. It supports that policy. And what it does is it provides definitions, training protocols, and how people can report violations of Internet issues. The big one is 5100 student attendance. This was a policy that you had that was 9-10 pages long. It was this particular version of it was adopted in 2007, your old version, and it was very large and very convoluted. We had the policy committee review this policy, then each level has their own attendance committee. They reviewed the policy as well. And most of what they found is that the procedures that they're using now don't quite correlate to what was in the policy. So taking a look at it, there were two directions we could have gone. We could have revamped all of the tables and stuff in your 2007 policy, or we could strip all that out, have the policy itself, and then move those charts and such, which were basically your disciplinary actions for particular attendance levels, and move that into the code of conduct. And then it would slim down 5100, but the other advantage is when you put it in the code of conduct, you review the code of conduct and approve it annually. So every time the code of conduct is reviewed, the buildings can then also review their attendance procedures within that code of conduct. So if you change those procedures, you do that annually anyway, you don't have to go back and change the policy itself. The policy will stay slim and updated, but it will refer to those disciplinary actions in the code of conduct. So there's the attendance policy. The next one is 8635E. It's the Parents' Bill of Rights for Student Data Privacy and Security. You had first reading of 8635 at the last meeting. This is the exhibit that goes along with it. And really what it does, again, this one's a new one to Catskill. What it does is it takes that policy and puts it into plain language as a Bill of Rights for parents. So it's easier for the public to read, and it's slimmer, and what was my other name? I don't know, I forgot. This particular policy is founded in Ed Law Section D, your data privacy law. The next one is 6741. This is actually a fiscal policy. contracting for professional services. This is also new to Catskill. It is required if your purchasing policy doesn't specifically spell out how you contract for services. So I went back to your fiscal policy, and the steps for creating RFPs for contracted services was not in that policy. So we put that in this policy. It's required from Municipal Law 104B, and it's for services such as legal, accounting, architectural, and according to municipal law, you should be going out for RFPs on those services every 3 years at minimum. Now you can, or at maximum. Services should be RFP'd every 3 years or so. And those, when I did those types of RFPs, we would write them up, and then we contracted with Cap Region BOCES because they have a COSER, a service for this, and they helped us construct the RFPs to make sure they were structured in the way that we wanted for the services that we wanted. That COSER is actually BOCES-able as well. And then the last one is the display of flag regulation. This was last adopted in Catskill in 2003. There was only one minor change that was made by the committee. It used to say flags would fly at half-staff for employees. Now it added in the population of retired employees. So if you have a retired employee, someone who retired from Catskill who passed away, this policy allows for the flag to be lowered. Oh, and it said lowered for 30 days. We took the 30 days out because lowering the flag for 30 days is a real long period of time. So that brings us to our 51. Those are our first reads for tonight. You'll see them in your agenda. Your second reads are the ones that we did last week. The ex officio student board member, you're getting it in before the requirement of July 1. Again, internet safety, student privacy, and then the information and data privacy, security, breach, and notification. And then the renumbers are for putting the internet safety policy in. We had to renumber one of your technology policies. So, accomplishments from this committee over this amount of time, like I said, 51 policies were created or edited since February 5th. You now have all of your required policies in place, so you're not missing any of them. And a process for reviewing policy and a certain rhythm has now been established. So anybody who remains on that committee knows what the rhythm and the procedure is. So I'm going to move on to recommendations. I would recommend that you continue to go through your policy manual. You have some 300 policies or so that have not been reviewed at this point. And they're all, what I would recommend is go in by section, go to the 1000s and have the committee go through those 1000s and either edit them or eliminate them and move them into procedure to streamline your policy manual. It's a pretty extensive policy manual. With Dr. Dan moving on, whoever you bring in as the new superintendent should cross-check all the 51 policies that we did as a group to make sure that it aligns with your procedures. A lot of them definitely will because we based the policy changes on the current procedures that you have, but you want to cross-check those. Again, I would recommend, because right now I believe you're working on your code of conduct for adoption. I'm going to assume somewhere in July or August. So those attendance procedures, Dan and Annie have the lists of what those procedures are, so the code of conduct can be adjusted for those. And I would recommend you split those attendance into K-5 or elementary and secondary, however you want to do that, because attendance is a little bit different in the elementary than it is in the secondary. And I would recommend that you keep a focus on policy because it truly is the way that a board can steer a district. Policy is your tool to do that. You don't go in and do the day-to-day procedures, but you can establish the parameters in which those procedures are put together so that you can kind of steer the ship. And then once you get them all cleaned up, I would migrate them to the board docs that you all subscribe to, and put the link to board docs on there. The beauty of board docs is anybody can go into your policy manual and search your policy manual. It creates automatic transparency for your policies. They're easy to find by keyword, or basically you can type in what the keyword is and it will find you all the policies that you folks have. It's easy and searchable. And I'd like to take the time to say thank you. It's been a pleasure. I know it's gonna sound nerdy, and the committee's gonna laugh at me, and some of you are too, but I did enjoy doing this work. It was a lot of fun. You got a great group. They stayed really focused, evidenced by the fact that you were able to edit or create 51 policies. Any questions? All right, thank you very much, folks.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
So just to give some numbers to back what Doug was talking about, right, the board has 357 policies, and over 320 of them are over 10 years old, right? So we took a big chunk out of that 357, that is over 10 years old. So they're not gonna down. So 307 left to go. Baby steps, baby steps. Next, we have something very exciting tonight. We have, both here, two people that are going to be presenting on telehealth for the Catskill Central School District next school year. So welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me tonight. My name is Debbie Bigelow. I'm a practice coordinator with Albany Med Emergent Care, and I am leading the school-based virtual visit program with schools in our area. So just a quick background for anyone who is not familiar with Albany Med Health System, Albany Med Emergent Care. We are a locally owned and governed nonprofit hospital and health system in the area. Emergent Care itself has 9 urgent care locations throughout the Capital District, and then we have in the health system, we are Albany Medical Center, Columbia Memorial Hospital, Saratoga Hospital, and Glens Falls Hospital. So very familiar, I'm sure with people down here, Columbia Memorial Hospital, Rapid Care. So there's those nice connections. So if your students are seen with our program, they would be seen by someone local, which we like to stress and find importance with. So we are connected to specialties within Albany Med, the system, which is another added benefit to be able to get children in with experts. And our providers themselves are expertly trained in urgent care medicine, and they receive education on pediatric urgent care medicine. So for us, this is a really exciting program. It's innovative, it was something new, and we're really excited to bring it potentially to your school district. So it is purely a mission-driven project for us. We, initially, it was started with, we want to help with absenteeism rates, but really as we have gone to different schools, different communities, we see that there are greater needs for access for a lot of families and for children, whether it is, there's lack of transportation, lack of facilities, lack of follow-through from parents. This program brings access right to your students at school and brings a nice convenient factor for families as well. And we are already in our communities. We participate in events all the time. I was just at a soccer tournament for 24 hours this past weekend doing medical services. So this is just an extension of it. It's something that we're passionate about, and our staff are also passionate about. So we've partnered with TitleCare. They are an organization that also wants to bring access to anyone, anywhere. And with being partnered with them, we provide this equipment to schools. Kind of hard to see. Sorry, it's small, which is great because this goes in your nurse's office. This is actually the home version of this. There's a commercial brand in which you would receive. It's same size, just a little bit more durable, but it's really easy. Pretty much foolproof. Blue dots goes in. This is for your ear. There's a otoscope chip that goes on. It's disposable. We provide all of this to the school. Stethoscope for heart and lungs. There's a tongue compressor attachment. We can do temperatures, pictures of skin for rash, right with this. And so the school's provided with this for the nurse's office as well as an iPad to use our Title Care application. It's very user-friendly for the school nurses, and a small piece of equipment to hold everything in the lockbox. That's all provided to the school, no cost whatsoever for that. We take on the burden of that equipment. So I'm just going to hopefully this will play for us. Maybe not. It worked in practice. Let's see. Do that work? Let's see. Nope. Well, if I could play my video, so you'll be able to see the eardrum. So Title just brings it to the next level, right? So we already have a telehealth business. Treating an ear infection though, without being able to see into a child's ear, that's not something that we like to do. It's not good practice, not good medicine. But with the equipment, we can see into the ear, you can see into the throat, and the nurse manipulates the equipment for our providers to see that emerging care. So again, it's just that next level of telehealth that really allows us that specialized treatment and confidence that we're doing the right thing for the students. So the goal of the program, again, closing that gap in care, that's a big one for us. It's a big one that we've noticed with schools. But also it's keeping the students where they belong, it's keeping parents where they belong. And it's not to say that, every student we're going to try to send back to class. That's not the goal of this. If a child should not be at school, if they physically do not look well, we don't want them in school. You guys don't want them in school. But there are a handful of students that come down to the nurse's office that don't need to go home, right? That maybe they're coming down because they have a headache and they've come down a couple of times. And you call mom and say, hey, Johnny come down here a couple of times. He's complaining of a headache. I don't think anything else is going on. We could do this visit, and the provider, if they deem necessary, we can give them Tylenol. I know my own son has gone, come home and been like, I had a headache all day. And I'm like, oh, if you could just have ibuprofen to feel better, that would be ideal. So 98% of the students that are going to come through the program are going to go back to class. Again, not unnecessarily. We don't want anyone suffering in class or around other students, but we can confidently say with our tests and our examinations if a student is okay to be in class. And then again, they'll be seen by one of our local medical providers if they do have to come in. We'll talk more about that. So just a quick kind of look at what the flow looks like, and we'll break this out more. A child comes down, a lot of this is going to overlap with current processes in school for the school nurse. So kid isn't feeling well, they come down to the nurse's office. The nurse feels like this would be a good visit, a good chance for a visit with urgent care. Let's do this. They contact the family says okay, and then the nurse will do all of the exams. They can report all the exams ahead of time. They can do testing ahead of time. We have protocols that we push out to the school, so we trust the nurses to, if a student comes down complaining of sore throat, that they can do a strep test in advance. They can do the video of, the throat, the ears, whatever is necessary on that protocol list. And then they connect with the provider. So the goal is to really expedite it, and every single office is going to be a little bit different. We know the biggest impact is going to be on our school nurses. They have to buy into this. Community has to buy into this for it to be successful, but it's a really great option for communities. And we'll, so the 3 different discharges, and we'll break those out more. Discharge class, which we said highest percentage of kids are in that class. There are going to be people that have to be sent home because they have strep throat. And then a discharge to clinic is going to be the smallest percentage. When we sat around and thought about what are the chances of a kid going home who did a visit with us, it's pretty, or going to clinic, sorry, it's pretty slim. A nurse maybe isn't sure if the kid needs to go to get stitches because they fell at excess on the playground. We look at it and we say, yeah, they need to go to be seen to have stitches. So again, very rare and the least likely. So how it kind of starts out, there's 2 different ways in which we can register a family into the program. The pre-consent, pre-registration is ideal. Saves everyone's time. What we do and what we're proposing to the different schools that we're working with is that they would send out all of the marketing materials throughout the summer, so that family, like with the normal school packets that go out for families to fill out prior to coming back to school, their kindergarten registration packets, putting it on Parent Square or whatever application you guys use. So we have a QR code where parents can do it online. We have paper forms, We are really trying to make it as easy and convenient on families to use the program, but pre-consent is the idea. There is also on-demand registration, so if it comes down and nurse really appropriate parent says okay, but we're not in the system, the parent or the nurse just needs to connect with the parent to say, are you okay with this? They say yes. The nurse will call us at emergent care and we will register that student in. We do require a verbal consent, whether even with the pre-registration, because if we pre-register at the beginning of the school year and someone comes down to the office a month later, we feel it's appropriate for that parent to know that their child is being seen. So they do have to do just that quick verbal consent for the child to be seen. We don't want any surprises for parents. Okay, kind of to go back on this, so as far as insurance goes, this is how, that's a big question that we get asked, is how does that work? Who's paying for this? So it goes through the child's health insurance. And so we take care of that. The school nurse will never touch anything with insurance. They will not know if a child owes any money. We will not turn any family away. Again, purely mission-driven, getting access to families. We have our Albany Med Health System Financial Assistance Program that is very, it's a great program. So it is on a sliding scale. It's based on family income and family household size. And so if a child does not have insurance, is underinsured or uninsured, they can work with our system to get insurance. That's the goal of it first, is to get them insurance. And then secondly, if they have insurance, they have a high deductible or copay, getting them that assistance if the family needs it and qualifies, so that they don't have to worry about those bills. So we will take care of those things on the back end to help those families work through those things. Okay, so again, how it works, student comes down, isn't feeling well, school nurse determines good candidate for telehealth, we get the verbal consent from the guardian, they record all the videos and forward is what it's called through the system, and then our provider connects, they review the videos of the exams ahead of time, we invite the guardian to join, and everyone comes in on the video visit for the diagnosis and treatment for that child. So here's our scenario. So meet Sam. So there are 3 different outcomes that we see with this program, right? So the first one is outcome number 1. Student comes down, has a fever and a sore throat, negative strep test. Provider says, let's give the kid some Tylenol and send him back to class. That's fine. We know he's not going to get anyone else sick. We feel confident in that. So kid goes back to class, but with some medication, feel more comfortable. The parent has joined the visit. They didn't have to leave work. The student isn't missing a whole lot of class time. And we're confident that they're okay to be back in class. Second outcome, kid comes down, has a fever and sore throat, positive strep test. We know the kid's gonna have to go home, right? But we can give them meds, right, while they wait for their parent to come, so that can kick in faster. And our provider will write a script that gets sent to your pharmacy of your choosing, so that when the parent leaves work, they pick up their kid, pick up the prescription, and just go home. You don't have to see if you can get into your pediatrician. Been there last week. You don't have to, try to get into urgent care, or is there going to be a little bit of a wait? Maybe we try not to at urgent care, but we are just purely trying to expedite the process for families and make it more convenient. I know that is what I would want. And then option 3, fever, sore throat, stomach pain, negative strep test. We can still give the medicine, but provider's concerned that something else might be going on. And that's when we would say, all right, we think you need to go in. Now, if they go to an Albany Med Emergent Care, our Catskill one is about 15 minutes from this school, they will get expedited care that we pull right back there in our system. They may have already been seen by actually one of our providers at that location already. They might already know what's going on, but we will pull them, they'll jump the line, and they'll have expedited care there. If they decide to go to rapid care, or if they have to go to Columbia Memorial, our connections with them will also help with expediting that care. If they don't want to go to any of us, that's fine too. We'll provide the paperwork so that they have that to bring to the provider if they're choosing. So if they're not tied into coming to us, they can go wherever they want. So these are some of the things that we can treat. We also provide COVID-19, flu A and B, strep test, urinalysis to the school. All of those are provided to the school at no cost. And then Tylenol, ibuprofen, and Claritin are also provided to the school. Currently, we have partnerships with Canada Harry in Germantown. We just started this program in June of last year. In February, rolled out to Canada-Harry, Germantown. We just brought on, so those two schools are live, and then we have Carroll Durham, Northville, Broad Albion, Griffin, and about a handful of other schools that we are making contracts and agreements with. So what questions do you guys have?
Assuming,
One of my questions is how many districts, so it's only 2 so far.
Yep.
Feedback from the nurses, they're happy with the
Yep.
program.
So the nurses work directly with me. Initially, yes, there was hesitation, right? We expected. We had the Germantown nurse had her first visit actually on my way home from deploying the equipment at the school. And she had a good experience. You know, we're working through things. Obviously, it's a new program for us, but we're dedicated to it. It's something, it's my sole project that I'm working on, and we want it to be successful. We need it to be successful, you know, so we are gonna work with the school to make sure that it is successful, and if something isn't working for the school nurse, we wanna know. So we meet with Canada-Harry currently every month to just say, hey, what came through your office? Would something have been a good fit? You know, we're not looking to slap anyone on the wrist or anything like that. We understand that not everything's gonna go through this program. It's gonna take time for families to buy into it and for the nurses to feel comfortable, but we put in the time to make sure we provide that training and are accessible if they have questions. It's really the biggest issue with this is just the internet connection, but once you figure out that kind of technical stuff, it's not bad, and then it will be figuring out that flow for each individual nurse, but we are flexible in what that looks like, and that's why it's nice that, say at noon, the nurse gets all of the med passes, and a kid has come down. If it's something that a kid can go back to class, they can say, come back in a half an hour, and we'll do it then. It doesn't have to be on our time. Like, we're there. You know, we're there 9 to 9, and can do that. So far we've had good relationships, but yes, we are building that momentum. We started in February, which we learned from doing that really you need the summer to build up consents and registration and buy-in. And so that's what we're looking for as we go into the new school year with these different schools.
So that was one of my questions about parental consent. What happens if you don't have parental consent, you can't contact the parent, and that's obviously the adult.
Yeah. We need consent. But we would hope, the hope is that regularly things are going out to families from the school to kind of push it. We're going to different community events. We went to Canada-Harry's Family Fun weekend and brought computers and papers with us to help sign up families to get those consents in. So we're here to support the school, the nurse, the families, the best that we can.
And Dan, the nurses are in support of this?
Yep.
That's a good question. Have you had any contact with any partners?
Yep. We met with John and Alyssa and the 4 school nurses. And we had a great interaction. I know that they have worked with some of our staff in the past. Some of our staff that have gone to like CMH Peds, they have good connections with. And again, if there was that initial, I don't know how this is gonna fit into my schedule and my flow. But I think that after, meeting with them and going through those things, they felt comfortable. And John can correct me and tell you the truth once I leave.
One nurse was definitely apprehensive about it, just the flow of the kids coming in elementary school. You got 600, 700 kids coming in throughout the year. Just how is that going to work with stopping and taking time to go do this? But after she met with us and they talked through it, the anxiety kind of went away. She said, "Oh yeah, it sounds like it really can be helpful and beneficial to the kids, right?" For example, we had a student just this week where they went down to the nurse's office and they had a little bit of a fever, but couldn't get a hold of the mom, or the mom couldn't come pick them up and take them home, so she was just stuck in the nurse's office. If we had telehealth, could have probably gave her some Tylenol or some lotion or something like that and made her feel a little bit better and got her on her way. It would have expedited the situation rather than them waiting in the nurse's office. So, yeah, like I said, it's something new. We're going to try it out hopefully and see how it goes. And we're going to have a camera or one of those cameras at each building, one in the elementary school, one on the secondary campus, and we're going to see how it goes. And if we have to get more, we can. If it's not, and we'll see how it is.
what professional will be reviewing the exam? Will it be a physician, a nurse practitioner, a physician assistant?
Sure. So the majority of our staff members are PAs and NPs. We do have overseeing positions as well, but yes, the majority of our staff are those mid-level providers.
What kind of relationship would you have with the family's physician, a private physician?
So
There, you know, I'm assuming that not all physicians are on staff at Albany Memorial. Albany Medical Center, Albany Memorial. How do you work that? How does the parent work that with their family physician?
So we, after any of our urgent care visits, we send over the after visit summary to their pediatrician. So they would have knowledge of what was already previously done. That would be our connection with them.
Would they have to sign up for a chart system that Albany Medical Center has?
No.
Patient chart system, where you can access your medical records, your medical information
They will,
online?
they'll have the ability to, but it's not a requirement. We'll put them into our system, okay? But they're not required to get our My Chart. Would be, it's nice if they do, especially for you guys who are so close to Columbia Memorial Hospital. You know, you probably have families that use the specialist at Albany Medical Center. A lot of the kids at Canada area, when I'm registering, I'm like, oh, they have a specialist at Albany Med, you know what I mean? So a lot of families already have actually the My Chart. And it's helpful too because they can use our regular telehealth medicine too for their whole family, but not required.
If the school nurse cannot get a hold of a family member, you stop the procedure right there. You just monitor the child, or
No, because we need consent for them to be seen by.
so the school nurse still has that individual ability to do something other than this telemed. They can make other arrangements, do other things for the child.
Yeah, they would do what they normally do if they don't get consented. The medications, just to be clear, are only for use though through the program. So they would have to be, a script would be written by one of our providers for a nurse to administer the medication.
What happens if the student has medication with them? What happens if, let's say, they're a diabetes patient or something that they have to carry some type of medication with them? That's on their record, their school record. Is that on their school record?
Yeah, usually I get a script through that goes to the nurse's office that they have. Like you said, at 12 o'clock, there's a certain amount of kids that come down for their meds on at a certain time, they have to have a script from the doctor, fax right to the nurse's office, and they have everything on.
And
they provide the meds as well.
that would be available with this system. That's assuming the patient has other medications other than what the nurse is looking at.
So if they're in our system, we'll see that.
Okay.
Okay. If not, the school should have access to that, and we'll work with the school nurse, right, and the family. The parent will likely be on that call also. So we make sure that we go over medications that a child is on, allergies to medication. So that's just our normal process would be to ensure that if we're going to give a medication or if we're going to provide treatment, that we know.
What about employees of the school system?
Yep, so there are no limitations on it. It's kind of on the school to determine if they want to do that. It's up to you guys. Some schools are like, the nurses can't touch the staff, others are like, it's fine. This is, like I said, this is a home piece of equipment, so anyone can use this equipment. There are no guidelines on that, so if you guys decide that you want a staff member to be able to do this, I mean, technically they can do their own strep swab, or if you allow a nurse to do it, they can run a strep test on a staff member.
Just talking about a school nurse examining an employee in the school system.
Right, so that would be up to you guys how you want it. We are fine with it. It does not matter to us. It would follow the same process for us. It would be up to the school to determine if they're okay with it. And the school nurses, because some school nurses, when we've met, are like, I don't want to cross that line. So it'd be up to you guys.
Thank you.
Mrs. Shane?
So I'm curious that with the registration form that you're gonna send out, or have the schools send out.
Yep.
Everybody gets a registration form. The parent is gonna give you their insurance information, right?
Yep.
So you'll have all of that. And are there all, health questions? Or is there a spot where they give you permission to use their health record, like MyChart or Trinity or?
So there's not MyChart access, but we do signatures for consent. So if it's our online QR code gets all of the insurance information. They can take pictures of their insurance card, their photo ID, we upload that into their chart. And their signatures for us to be able to bill insurance. We have a assignment of benefits as our normal consent form, and then a general consent retreat.
Is there a limit to how many times a child can go down there? I mean, is the insurance always gonna pay for it? You know, when you get down there, it's like the parents gonna be aware of the copay.
Right, so I mean, there is a certain part that it's parents' responsibility to know their insurance, right? But if a parent, does end up with the bill and they're like, I don't know how to pay this, they probably qualify for our financial assistance program. I'm just looking because I can never remember how.
The financial assistance program is 4 times over the federal poverty rate. So in school terms, any student that's eligible for free or reduced lunch program for the guidelines would be eligible for 100% discounts in the financial assistance program. And mind you, this is a system-wide, right? It's not just for this health program. Our financial assistance program is for all 4 of our campuses. So it would, if they apply for that, we'll help them through that process. It would apply to the visits to Columbia Memorial or anything like that.
And then my last question would be, you said that there's a lot of confidential information being online. You said the only problem you felt was a little internet problem. Was that cause a breach or?
Oh, no, I just meant getting this on the network. We send out, when we contract with the schools that we have agreements with, we send out all the information from an IT platform standpoint, and so your IT we've vetted this through all of Albany Med's legal and through, the computer security piece of that. There are no concerns with security of people's information. This is just tech support, just internet connection type things. Yeah.
Anybody else? Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. I have, if anyone wants, I have 2 copies in my office. I'll leave you guys with a little bit of information. I'd love to check it out. Share with you the registration form. What's that?
You have a registration?
I don't have a registration form, but on here, actually, if you want, this is a QR code right to the online registration process. Yeah. But it's, I'm trying to think how many pages it is. It's 2 pages of just like basic information, like demographic information, pharmacy, primary care physician, to make sure we send all that stuff. Then the 2 signatures that we require, and a HIPAA type thing of who you want us to be able to contact. So I think probably online's easier for some people. I actually don't mind writing it out myself, so it's really just a preference, but we wanted to make it as easy as possible. And we're definitely open to feedback on what you guys think might work for your families, what's most successful. We're not, we're flexible. We're up for it. So whatever you have, we can make work.
So that was a great job. We're really excited about this program, and to build upon that, Mr. Rivers and I, next week, we'll have our second meeting. We're going to be looking that, this is for health services. The next step is going to be for dental services for our school district. So we have our second meeting on that next week. We met this week for round 1, and so hopefully that will be in place for next school year, so that our students can get health services as well as dental services within our school building during the school day, which would be great. And that is all of us.
Thank you. Okay. Second agenda presented amended. We have 3 walk-on items that we need to add to the agenda tonight. First, we're looking for a motion to be resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools. The Board of Education hereby approves the probationary appointment of Mr. Matthew Parker to the business manager position on the terms and conditions of the employment to be set forth in the employment contract, and authorizes the board president to execute said agreement. Need a motion? Ms. Freeze, second. Mr. Consul, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? So carried. Mr. Parker, congratulations. Now we have to hire a treasurer. But we thank you for the hard work that you and Brett did this year. You got our budget kind of in line where it needs to be, and solved a few, put out some fires along the line. With that, we really appreciate the work and we look forward to the great things you do for the district. Item 2 to be added. Be it resolved that upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the Board of Education hereby approves the revised assistant superintendent for business agreement effective June 12, 2025. Need a motion? Mr. Consul, second. Ms. Freeze, all in favor? Opposed? So carried. And lastly, be resolved that the Board of Education hereby accepts the resignation of Danielle Tabaluzzi, elementary school special education teacher, effective close of business June 13, 2025. This also would be within the provisions of G3 under our personnel consent tonight for its option. Need a motion, Dietrich? Shane, all in favor? Opposed? So carried. Now I would ask for a motion to accept the agenda as amended.
I'll move it.
Mr. Rizzo, Ms. Reese, all in favor? Opposed? So carried. Need a motion for the approval of the minutes of May 20th, 2025 Board of Education meeting. Mr. Council, Ms. Reese, all in favor? Opposed? So carried. Need a motion for approval of the minutes of the Board of Education meeting from May 21st, 2025. Mr. Rizzo, Mr. Diedrich, all in favor? Approval of minutes of the June 4th, 2025 meeting of the Board of Education. Mr. Council, Ms. Young, all in favor? Opposed? So carried. Need a motion to accept the treasurer's report for the month of May 2025. Ms. Freeze, Mr. Rizzo, all in favor? Opposed?
Before Matt and Zilber, I do have some questions on the financial statement. I noticed that we have not received our monies for excess aid, BLT lottery, and general aid, and other state aid, hardware aid, and interest penalties. You don't have to answer. I don't need for you to answer me tonight, but I just have these questions, and I would ask that you look at those and send me an email.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you. Thank you.
Second. Okay, E6. Be resolved, the Board of Education hereby accepts the extra classroom activities account report dated June 2025, submitted by the extra classroom accounts account treasurer. Motion?
Just have a question.
So, motion and a second. Mr. Diedrich, any second? Ms. Young,
Question, is this divided into different buildings, elementary, middle, school?
High school.
It's just,
any other discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Item E7. Be resolved, the Board of Education hereby accepts the claims audit report for May 2025 as submitted by the claims auditor. Need a motion? Ms. Shane, second. Mr. Diedrich, all in favor? Opposed? So carried. Item E8 has been removed. The contract is not required. Item E9. Resolved, the recommendations of the CSE, CPSE meetings for the student listed below are approved by the Board of Education. There are 20 students in the 2024-2025 school year. Any motion, Mr. Shane, Mr. Diedrich, all in favor? Opposed? E10 is acceptance of additional recommendations of the CSE, CPSE meetings for the students listed below. There are 30 students for the 25-26 school year. Mr. Shane, Mr. Diedrich, all in favor? Opposed? Item E11, acceptance of a 504 accommodation plan for 2 students for the 24-25 school year. Motion, Mr. Shane, second Mr. Dietrich, all in favor? Opposed? So carried. Item B12, recommendation of Superintendent of Schools recommends the Board of Education accept the recommendation for student, one student as presented by the 504 Accommodation Committee for the 25-26 school year. Mr. Duchesne, Mr. Council, vote, all in favor? Opposed? Carried. 13, be it resolved, the Board of Education hereby approves an agreement with Top Form Incorporated to provide classes to coaches for period May 31st, 2025 to June 1, 2026. Need a motion? Mr. Council, second. Mr. Rizzo, all in favor? Opposed? So carried. 14, be it resolved, the Board of Education hereby approves an agreement with Albany Medical College to provide school-based telehealth services beginning August 1st, 2025. Mr. Dietrich? Mr. Rizzo, all in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Look forward to that being on our campus. E15 is declaration of obsolete surplus books and equipment indicated on 6/2/25 by Clearwater in the library. This is obsolete equipment of value. Well, any motion, Mr. Duchesne? Second? Ms. Reese, all in favor?
Also a question, just equipment, what we're doing, small,
Yes. I believe it's books.
Books.
Old books.
yeah, just wanted to discuss the way what's from.
Okay.
Going there.
Garbage. They have a value. Nothing has value.
That's standard procedure for districts.
Yeah,
Anyone
so-
wanted them?
So there's like textbooks or no textbooks, it's actually cost districts money to get rid of them through donations. So they just become obsolete and get thrown away. Usually library books, once they are pretty beat up, dismantled a little bit.
Maybe just requesting them for that in the future.
All in favor? Opposed? So carried. E16, be resolved, the board hereby accepts the first reading of the following policies. 4311.1, display of the flag. 4311.1R, display of the flag regulation. 4526.1, internet safety reg. 5100, student attendance. 6741, contracted for professional services. 8635E, parent bill of rights for data privacy and security. Our motions. Mr. Shane, second. Ms. Freeze, all in favor? Opposed? So carried. E17, be resolved, the board hereby accepts for second reading and adopts the following policies. 4526.1, internet safety. 2245, student ex officio student board member. 5550, student privacy. 8365, information data privacy, security breach notification. Be it further resolved, the board hereby accepts the second reading and adoption of the following revised policies. The only change is the policy number itself, 4526.3, 4526.3E, and 4526.1. Motion? Mr. Shane, Ms. Reese, all in favor? Opposed? So carried. E18, be resolved, the Board of Education hereby authorizes the Health and Welfare Services contract between Catskill Central School District and the City School District of Albany for 4 Catskill students currently enrolled in the Albany Academy for the 24-25 school year. Total amount $4,679.68.
I have a question.
Any motion first?
I'm sorry.
Any motion? Mr. Shane, second. Mr. Council, discussion.
These are non-public, this is a non-public school, it's not the Albany City School System itself.
No, the Albany Academy.
Pardon me, private schools?
Yes, Albany Academy is private school.
And it's a city
The
school.
reason why we're paying for their health services?
So whenever
They manage.
a student of ours goes to a private school, the district in which that private school is in has to provide health and welfare services to those students, and then that district bills us for those services. So just like we're getting billed from Albany City School District for our students that are attending Albany Academy, it's the same thing. We bill Germantown for the Montessori schools. A lot of the Montessori school students come from Germantown. So we bill Germantown and we provide the health services for the students.
Any other discussion? All in favor? Opposed? All right, G, personal consent. I need a motion to approve section G, personal consent. Mr. Council? Second? Okay. Need a second? Mr. Shane. Any discussion? Before we vote on this, I just want to recognize 3 longtime educators here at the Catskill School District who are retiring on June 30th. Renee Calvo, who's a science teacher here. Jeff Dudzik, everybody knows is Catskill's own math teacher. And Karen Osborne, who's also a science teacher. We wish them well in their retirement. And also, Ms. Allison Pell is going to be retiring on January 5th of 2026. We appreciate all the service that those folks have made to the district, and we wish them well. With that, I need a motion. I have the motion in a second. All in favor? Council? We have one. Vote? So carried. Board report. I'll just lead off first. I want to welcome and wish him very well in his new endeavor. Jamie Donna, our new high school principal, is over here. And then I want to thank Mr. Thomas Martin for the past school year. He came in as our interim principal and held everything together as we conducted the extensive search which led to Mr. Donna. I want to wish the best to Assistant Superintendent Brett Miller, who will be retiring on August 15th. Both he and Matt made a great partnership over in our business office with the business staff, and he'll be missed as far as that goes. And also I want to extend our best wishes to Dr. Wilson, who this is his last board meeting. He will be starting July 1st in Watkins, and I wish him well in his new role as Assistant Superintendent for Special Education. Anybody have anything else?
I would like to recognize and express my appreciation for the CTE student celebration, which was held here last night. Awards were given out to the students who had excelled in their classes. It's a curriculum that I think is getting stronger and better in our school, and it is rewarding to see that these students are growing, especially from freshman class all the way to seniors. I also would like to thank all the students who received their annual scholarship award at the scholarship meeting, which was held, I believe, earlier this month. We have some very, very fine students. I think all our students are fine, but we really have some really fine students, and they were recognized at that meeting. I was happy to be there, and I do wish all the graduating class best wishes in their college years or professional, whatever the profession they want to do. And I would also like to thank Dr. Wilson for the last 2 years for his service to the school district. I came on as a board member at the end of my second year, 1 more year to go. But I do wish him well, I wish his family well, and I thank you very much, Dr. Wilson.
Yeah, so we have 2 other things that I'd like to. I would like to thank Ms. Lenora Fries and Mary D. Simone as well, both of who are ending their terms on the school board effective July 1st. I thank you for your 3 years of service to the board. And on a great note, one more thing too, but on a great note, Friday, June 27th, 6 p.m., class of 2025, 159th commencement ceremony here at Catskill. So I encourage you, if you can attend, to attend and support our senior class as they receive their diplomas. And lastly, this was earlier this season, Eva Edmond was recognized for reaching 1,000 points on the basketball court to show her prowess athletically. And I'm really happy to announce that Eva is going to Pace University to play softball. And with that, she was recognized. Catskill doesn't get a lot of softball recognition amongst the true powerhouses. But Ava received the Neil Palin Award this year, which is something that is very, very nice to have. Neil Palin was an official in both basketball and volleyball, who passed away from cancer, but he left an endowment for students in both them, boys and girls, on both volleyball and softball. So really appreciate what Neil has done, having worked with him as an official, and I'm really happy for Ava to receive that award and a little bit of a check to go with it to help her with her school book. So well deserved on Ava's point, and we really celebrate her achievements. So hopefully she'll have a great career, please. All right, with that, this is a recognition on non-agenda items. I believe our soccer coach, Mr. Andy Carter, started the turf field. I just remind you, we limit to 3 minutes.
Yeah, that's fine. I didn't know Mr. Rivers was gonna be here, I didn't know I was gonna be here, but do you know if that camera is working?
It is going to be, we're in contract now with the company that's gonna come in and install, do all the work to get it done and running. So it should be ready by August.
Alright, so this might be short. We've had a camera up there since 2023, and we keep asking, and you know, Mr. Rivers and the board and Dr. Wilson's helped us with a lot of different things, so I figured I'd come and see if there was a collaboration, a meeting of the minds that we can try to get that working. We start August 18th, so, and I know a lot of people are off for the summer, so I figured if there was anything we could do, but it sounds like things are actually in the
Yeah, we
works.
put the PO in last week, and we're waiting for it to get approved for the business office, and we're already in contact with the company. We're ready to go.
And not to take anything at all away from Ava, that is excellent. The boys soccer team in 2023, we got the sportsmanship award from the referees.
Awesome. Joe was just said, right, we do have a lot of outstanding kids here in this district and a lot of different facets.
Yeah.
John, my question for Mr. Rivers is that's a huddle contract.
Yes.
Is it just for this turf field, or do we have availability for the softball field, or maybe even Ricky Kramer for the rest of the sport?
We don't have a mobile one, but I can look into getting into that. There's other cameras out there like Vivo that some other districts have used, and that's it's mobile, right? You can take it with you to other places.
Sure, yeah, I know a lot more and more being an official, a lot of the schools are using these platforms, and that's great for the folks to be able to watch our kids when they're on the road, or if they're playing at home, if they can't get to the game. So I'll look into that.
You can use these cameras for practice, so that you can look at how they play and what kind of offense or defense you want.
Exactly.
You can use that camera for that too, right?
Yep.
Thank you.
A lot of it, you can, like, even during the game, it'll break down the stats for you, right? The service games and AI will say, recognize the number of the player and say, you had X amount, 3 shots on goal or whatever.
You need bigger stands.
I can't help it.
Sorry. That was
I
meant over here.
Not if you look out front, open up.
Not football stuff.
All right, thank you, Mr. Carter. With that, Sarah DeSico, regarding kindergarten graduation.
Right over here.
Sure,
Very official. So yeah, my name is Sarah DeSico. I am here to speak about the kindergarten graduation, or I guess the lack of graduation this year. I was wondering why the decision was made not to have a kindergarten graduation. I feel that it is a milestone that kids make, and we won't be able to recreate this or repeat it at a later time. And I was curious if there was any way we could make this happen. I do feel that the Catskill School District has always stressed the importance of family and stressed the importance of community, but we're not really demonstrating that to our kids by not having this kindergarten graduation. They want to share the experience with their family, and the family wants to see them and see this growth that they've had for this past year. You know, the saying, it takes a village to raise a child, I think is more true now than it ever has been, because most households have 2 working families or a single parent, so it's often the grandparents, step-parents, aunts and uncles that offer this help and support and guidance. I do know that there's classroom celebrations that are happening, and the teachers and kids are working really hard. I know my little one is dancing and singing around practicing her song, and it's almost that I want more people to be able to go, but right now we're limited to 2 people. It was a hard choice in our family of who was able to go and who can't, and I know other parents are feeling the same. The kids deserve to have everyone there and support them, and the extended family deserves to have this memory as well. We'd love for our children to see and feel the support of the school district and all of their families by having an in-school graduation ceremony. So I'm here to ask if there's any way for the classroom celebrations that are already being planned can move to the gym, which would allow us to have open invitation to those extended families. If needed, I'm sure parents will come and help set up or decorate or whatever is needed. We're really hoping that can happen. If the school can't make it happen, there is a group of the kindergarten parents that are working together to form and do something outside of the school. You know, we really think it would be best in the school. We want it to be in the school, but at the end of the day, we are parents who want what's best for our kids, and we will try and make it happen whatever way we can. So again, we're just looking to see if we can move the in-classroom celebrations to the gym to allow for a more open invite than limiting to 2 family members per child.
So we'll get back to her about that.
We'll have to talk to Stacy and then find out the precipitous of how the events came to be where they are now, with the more, I guess, more intimate would be in the setting right within the classroom and that, and try to determine what can be done at this point. But we can have them discuss that. Okay. And Ms. Naggy Village, also about kindergarten graduation.
So I think I know all of you. I'm Amy Village. I'm a kindergarten teacher at the elementary school. And I'm also a parent of 3 children that went through the elementary school. I came tonight just to briefly let you know about the planned kindergarten celebration. Recently, I attended a PTA meeting to request funds for our end of the year celebration. And the PTA graciously is funding our donut for the grown-up celebration. And we're holding it on 6/17 and 6/18. While I was there, I was asked by a few of the PTA members why the celebrations were changing this year. And we had a really nice discussion about it. Safety was a big issue last year with our graduation. Actually, it's not a graduation, it's a celebration that we do at the end of the year. And basically, the children were getting up on stage, they were singing a couple songs, and then we were taking them to have cupcakes with their families. Last year, I will tell you that as I was bringing my children off the stage, parents, grandparents, relatives were grabbing their children out of the line. I was unable to make sure that all my children got back to the area safely and carefully. And I will tell you too that we repeatedly made announcements at the celebration, and we told the children in the classroom, please don't leave our lines, but it still happened. I had 2 parents bring their child back to me. He was crying because he looked out and he was looking for his family, and he didn't see them, and he wanted to find them. And these are 5 and 6-year-old children. They're impulsive. They're excited. Even though you tell them 100 times before, when there's that many people in the room, it gets to be really overwhelming for them. So we wanted to plan something this year that would be in an environment where the children and those supervising the children felt comfortable and safe. We worked over many years to acknowledge this day as a celebration instead of a graduation, because we feel the children are just moving to the next grade level and they're not moving buildings. Our building does get very busy in May and June. Kindergarten teachers are screening for a whole week in May. We're out of our classrooms. We're looking at the children that are coming in for the fall. We had a wonderful field trip this year to Forsyth Park, and that took a lot of planning. Our field day is tomorrow, and we're wrapping up our school year in kindergarten, and that takes a lot of one-to-one testing with the children, so we're spending a lot of time doing that right now. It takes weeks to complete this testing. Our 5th graders are graduating to the middle school, which requires practice. They're moving on, getting up on the stage in an elementary school when there's 3 lunches and 3 recesses during the day. There's not a lot of time to get up there and use that stage and practice. Pre-K also has a moving up celebration. Furniture has to be moved. The custodians are taking the risers off, taking them on. The music teachers are there. They're helping prepare the music for the 5th grade graduation. So there's so much that goes into these celebrations at the end of the year. Over the years, it's been difficult to find time in May and June for us to practice on the stage. Not because we don't want to, because we're so busy. We've had to deal with the risers and getting on and off the riser, being safe. I am a praying person. At the graduation, I sit there and say, please don't let anyone fall off the back of the risers, for real. We have people standing behind them. They're 5, they're 6, they move around a lot. It's not that we don't want them to sing for you, we just want everybody to feel safe. Last year, again, I just said it was really scary, with multiple messages sent out, announcements made at graduation, and discussing this for days with our students. Visitors took their children off the lines. Children got nervous, they ran off the line to find their parents. Sometimes parents can't make it to this. And you have a child standing up there looking for their parent the whole time and wondering where their parent is. Some kids don't see their parents and they just start crying. Some children don't want to be up there, they don't want to sing. I've had children come down off the stage and just sit with me because it's too much. There's so many people involved. So this year we revised, and although we can't invite as many people as we wanted to, we feel that all the children will be happy to participate. We invite them to dress up. We want them to dress up and feel like this is a special day for them. If parents want to sign them out and take them out for lunch with their family afterward, that's fine with us as well. That's what they've done in the past before. We're going to have photograph opportunities. One of my colleagues makes these beautiful balloon displays. We're going to have that set up. We are already decorating the hallway. We have certificates that we're actually going to hand to the kids this year. And I will tell you, in the past, when we've done this all together, parents are running around trying to find these so they can take a picture of me with their child after it's over. It's very busy. Here, I plan to have a little step stool. The children are going to step up. I'm going to give them their certificate. They can take a picture with me. They can take a picture by themselves, however they want. They can go in the hallway and take pictures. We've been working really hard. We went to Price Chopper. We got donuts. I've been to Kingston, picking up supplies and all different things for this year. And I think it's, I just hope that everybody will give us a chance to try this new and a different way. Things change over the years. And I just wanted to end saying that, again, I had 3 children in the district, and they each had a different type of celebration in kindergarten. One of their celebrations was down at Dutchman's Landing. One of their celebrations was on the stage singing songs, and the other one was in the back of the school. So they have been different throughout the different years that I've been at CES, and my children have been at CES. So just kind of wanted to let you know what we've been doing and the reason why we did it. We want everybody to feel safe. We don't want to exclude anybody. That is certainly not the feeling at all. It's just, you're 5 years old and there's hundreds of people out there. You got to think about how that feels. It's tough. And it's tough for us. And it's for 20 minutes. This is going to be an hour and a half in our classrooms, playing games, making their own donut, doing, eating donuts, coffee, tea. It's going to be more of a celebration than we have actually had in the past. So thank you for listening, and
Thank you.
Thank you for that.
I don't.
Thank you for your hard work too.
Yeah.
Kindergarten team has been on like for past days, right?
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Oh, yeah.
All right, we need a motion to return to executive session for purposes of discussing personnel. Shane? Me, all in favor? Opposed? So carried, folks. We will not be coming back in. Thank you.